Hi, it's Cinderella and Snow.
We're both black.
Yeah, we are, girl.
Oh my God.
What happened to our show?
Really?
Hello, what's up? It's me, Salisha. I'm so excited because this episode is all about somebody who I look up to and love and cherish even as a friend, as well as a performer on and off the stage so much. Her name is Aisha Jackson! In this episode, I will be sharing some clips from interviews with her from before we went to Broadway and after we closed. So that's what you're gonna see is during the pandemic when we talked for my podcast, Black Hair in the Big Leagues, and after we closed Once Upon a One More Time on Broadway. She's a force to be reckoned with and a good soul. I hope you enjoy. Right before this pandemic, we were in rehearsals for the Britney Spears musical, which she's starring in as Snow White. Please help me welcome Aisha Jackson!
What's up, girl? What's up?
Girl, what is up?
You know, a lot.
But actually, though,
Woo!
a lot.
A lot.
You are such an inspiration. Like, I do feel like we are peers, but I also want you to know that, like, I am very inspired by you, Aisha. And this is kind of a vulnerable thing.
Okay, here we go. Let's go to that space. This is safe space.
So before we started the Britney Spears musical, Once Upon a One More Time, the day that I got offered that show, I was offered another role in a different show. And in that other role, I would have been a principal. With the Britney Spears musical, you know, I'm an offstage swing. And I chose, one of the reasons why I chose to be in the Britney Spears musical was so that I could have the opportunity to watch you and
Wow.
literally take notes.
Wow.
I thought that was the wiser decision and something that will help me to grow more like down the line than if I
made me cry. Wow.
that is. And I'm like, I'm not sure if I was would I would ever tell you that, but here we are.
Pandemic.
So,
Wow.
right.
That's thank you. Thanks. Wow.
Here we are.
Wow.
Here we are.
Thank you. That means a lot. No, and I don't take it for granted when people like share those vulnerable moments and that is I pray to like be a light and to use my gifts to inspire and uplift others. So whenever someone says that to me, it's like an affirmation of just like, okay, you're walking.
You're exactly where you're supposed to be
doing, which I doubt sometimes. So thank you.
Isn't it crazy how even at this high level you can still doubt yourself? Like I'm sure that's so relatable.
People don't talk about that. People don't talk, like people aren't transparent with like, I did an interview the other day and one of the girls was like, you know, so once how is it different like before and after booking Broadway? Like what has changed? And I'm like, well, you know, unless your goal is to only book one Broadway show, the grind still continues. Cause she's like, does the grind stop? And I was like, no, the best time to get your next job is while you have one. And so like we're talking about it and I'm just like, it doesn't change, but we also don't talk about how like when you get to different levels of success, no matter if you get to where you want to be or if you're working towards that, like throughout it, you always have these struggles of like overcoming fear and doubt and all these different things. And I feel like so many people are like, oh, once you book the job or once you get this or you've done it. And it's like, no, there's a whole nother level of issues that come along with that.
Yeah. Okay, so while we were in rehearsals, and y'all, if you're listening, we were in rehearsals for 11 days before the world freaking shut down.
And mind you, Salisha, I've been working on Once Upon a One More Time since before the Frozen Broadway show opened. Like in between Frozen Denver and Frozen Broadway, I started Once Upon a One More Time. And I've been doing...
How many years is that?
It was like
when
3
was that?
years.
In the 11 days that we were in rehearsals.
Oh, yes.
In the 11 days, I noticed how you would come into rehearsal, you would have your afro out, your hair natural in a high ponytail or just down, and sometimes you would not even wear makeup. And it was so, to me, that is very inspiring to me because I've always been like, I need a full face, I need to straighten my hair, I need to put on a wig, and you you came in being yourself and slaying. So where does that confidence come from? Where did you, like, owning just like, this is what I look like? I'm not trying to change for any, like, where did that come from?
My mother. My mother, okay, first and foremost, my mother does not wear makeup. So that's probably where that comes from. Like, just, and so growing up, like, of course, once we got to the age where we wanted to wear more makeup, she's like, okay, I mean, you can, but she didn't teach us that because she don't walk around with a full face of makeup on. I think it's very important too, something that I tried to do purposely whenever I was doing a press event for Anna or anything like that. I would make sure that my curls were out, and I would make sure that, like, yes,
it was intentional.
And I'm like, yeah, I can have straight hair. Black women have straight hair. I can straighten my hair. I could do whatever, but I wanted to make sure you saw it also in forms that people don't deem quote unquote appropriate for a Black woman to show up in a workspace. Name of the role is Snow White, and I am a chocolate queen. So like, it's just like, I want to make sure that as I'm showing up in these roles and like breaking down walls and different things like that, that I'm also making room for Black hair to be celebrated on the stage.
By the way, we are sitting in Aisha's dressing room. It's all cleared out. That's why this is load out. People are coming in and out of this room.
Yeah.
I kind of feel like, how are you feeling?
I feel good. I feel very grateful. I feel proud. I feel accomplished of like what we did. More knowledgeable. Yeah. And I'm like very grateful that we had such a beautiful audience on Sunday night. That audience was like
standing O during Bottom of My Broken Heart.
Yeah.
Standing O during
opening numbers, standing O during Toxic. I just like, and every time we had it, I love that I allowed myself to feel the feels. I cried. Like, I was trying to stay present in the moment and experience it, but also like, we're doing a show, so like I'm in character still, but like breaking the fourth wall. I took a few peeks in the audience, and like at the end of Bottom of My Broken Heart, I was just there like crying, and I like cheers the audience with my bottle.
We were crying too.
And I didn't realize that Briga and Ashley stood up on stage to like give me a standing ovation on stage. So I saw that the other day, and I was like, I came in today feeling like I was gonna be like fine, and then I came in and I like emptied stuff out, and I was like, wow. And I just like took one last moment in the mirror, and literally was like, oh my God. But it's like, yes, there's sadness there, of course. It's a roller coaster of waves, but it's also just like this release, and like to be able to have the freedom, in my heart, mind, body, soul, voice, back, knees,
right?
Of like, I don't have to carry this weight anymore.
Right.
Of the responsibility to like make this work and to come in every day and to give 100% and like all that stuff. That's kind of like, it's gone. It's off your shoulder.
So out of all the versions you've seen, because you've been with this project since what, 2017?
Mm-hmm.
Do you think that the version, and it's a real question, do you think that the version that we ended with was the best version? Or what was the best,
I think it was on its way to being that. So yes, but also I feel like it could have had more impact than we ended up having. But I am happy for the impact in the story that we ended with. My goal to create a role that another Black woman can stand in and not feel like she's playing a stereotypical version of herself or what these humans think.
I think you did a good job.
And I like don't want her to have to think about the words that she's saying and if they're prejudiced or racist or misogynistic or anything like that. Like, it is my goal to continue making roles for Black women to lead and to shine. And in that, I want them to be 3-dimensional. I want them to not just be the dumb best friend the entire play. I want them to not.
Snow went through her iteration.
Right. And so when I signed on for Snow, like Snow had an arc where she gained a lot of knowledge, and it was, you knew that through her lines, and then some of those lines were taken away. So it's like, okay, how do I still create this arc without having that material?
Do you there was a part in previews and rehearsals when we had a long monologue, scientific.
It was so much
in the March scene. Do you miss it, or are you glad it's
ended
gone?
up missing it. At the beginning, I was like, what is this? John, cut it. But then as I became more comfortable with it and not as afraid of it, I was like, oh, there are moments in here, there are pockets.
Yes.
There's a rhythm to this. There is an arc to this. And so once I finally found it, it was actually an industry night where a lot of Black humans were present.
Yes.
And I was like feeling the energy from them. And I was like, okay, let's make some more choices. And so I was like, oh, I found it. I finally found it. And then it got chopped.
Don't quote me, but I think it's like how in chaos theory, a sensitive dependence on initial conditions means a small change in one state of a deterministic nonlinear system can result in large differences in a later state. Maybe.
As your understudy in this production,
#Salisha for life.
onto this, I ain't never been no swing, nor do I ever want to be a swing again.
You did it.
Okay.
It's done. You did it well.
I did it. I really never took for granted getting to watch you build a character, putting things in that challenged you, that stretched you. I'm like, I wouldn't be too afraid to put that in. I'm like, the project before this, you were the standby for Tony Award winning Shakina Kalakungo.
Yeah.
Like going from being, you've understudied, you've swung before, like you've been a standby before, going from that into stepping into your own starring role with more star things on deck. Like, what does that feel like? And would you ever be a standby again?
No. Is the last 2 projects that I've done were standing by, which also meant it was my responsibility to build stamina on my own. And so like coming in every day and not doing the show and then having to do it one-off, you're like, great. It doesn't matter. Like, I mean, vocal health always matters, but you can go on stage and you can go balls to the walls
because you're only doing it once
and sit down because you're not doing it 8 times. Now, when that human takes a vacation or is sick or has personal days that cause them to be out consecutively, then you're like, stamina. What's that? Got to find her. Balance. Got to find her. Yes. But I realized because the past 2 projects that I've been on, then coming here and doing 8 shows a week was actually difficult. And this show is not that, it's physically demanding. Vocally, it wasn't as demanding, but I feel like because of our balance in sound and pop music and stuff on Broadway, you always end up pushing more than you should. So,
you also never hold back.
No, I mean, I don't like to show up. Yes, we all have our versions of like, this is my A show, this is my B show.
Amen. Amen.
If I'm in C, D, E, F, G, we're at home. I'm not coming. That's not have a caliber of excellence to uphold. And no shame to anybody who does whatever they need to do, because we all have to find balance.
That's a really good way to put it.
Yeah.
I'll give you my A show. Here's my B show. But if I'm in C, D, E, F, G, I'm at home.
I don't want to be in my head while I'm on stage thinking about, can I do this move? Can I sing this song? How do I need to redo this to make sure? That's what I need to do before the show. And if I can clock, you need to not sing this here, you need to not sing that there, the rest of your show is fine. But if I'm like, I got to maneuver through this, I got to do this. I can't do that move because my back's hurting today.
Yeah.
My knees are, so I can't go down. Like if I'm doing that, you can't do the show.
Yeah.
And you're not bringing the best of yourself to this production. So for the betterment of the show and my wellness, I'm going to stay at home.
You really gave me grace. The day that I got thrown on for Cinderella, I was like, I'm probably going to be singing. We're going to be singing in harmony. I mean, in unison at some point.
And I said, okay.
Cool. And you looked me in the eyes and I was like, we singing the same.
We're singing the song.
But your confidence, when you need to call out, you call out. How do you do that? How do you do that?
You have to take care of yourself. I am my responsibility. It is my first priority to take care of myself. It is also very important that I take care of the gift that God has given me. So if ever I'm going to place myself in a position to bring harm to this, because it's my responsibility to take care of this. It's my responsibility to take care of all of this.
Because this is not your last gig.
This is no. We have a career. And the thing is, like, when you're in previews, a lot of people don't know, you're still in rehearsals
All day.
So you're in rehearsals all day. You're at the theater all day. You're
Sometimes
making
huge changes.
You're making huge changes to go in that night.
The surgeries were big.
You put those changes in that night. You go home, you go to sleep, you wake up, and you do it all over again for 5.5 weeks.
It's
also preview periods shouldn't be that long.
It was wild.
And we should get paid extra.
Yes.
Force me to dance. I've always been, I always tell people I move well. I think it's because of the expectation of, like, if I say I'm a dancer, like, you're gonna expect me to be able to, like, ga.
You were like,
and I don't be feeling like I could ga everything.
They didn't put you in the middle of that clump and crazy for no reason.
They put me in the middle of that clump, and I was like, you got all these dancers around me, and you want me to be in the middle of this? You better believe it.
What was your most favorite memory from all of this?
For me, it's always a blessing to see how the show impacts others. So the ways in which me being a Black woman, embodying Snow White inspires someone else, or it tells this little girl, like, you could be a princess too. That to me is the most important.
Did you get that at the stage door? Did you get that?
I got it in letters. I got it in fan mail. I got it at the stage door, seeing little chocolate drops, being like, you were my favorite. There's this one girl who came and she wants to be a performer, and I, like, saw her in the audience with her mom, so I was, like, dancing with her, and then she came to the stage door and she was so kind, and she was like, I wanted, and her mom was like, she was too. And it was so, like, I would see these beautiful Black and brown girls and my eyes would tear up whenever I would see them at the stage door, because that's my why. I love you. You love me. I love him.
Make sure you catch Aisha Jackson at New York City Center performing in Pal Joey from November 1st to the 5th. I think those are the dates. Check it out. Everyone who's anyone will be there. Thank you for watching another episode. Whoop whoop. I hope you tune in again next week. Dealer's choice. What's it gonna be? What's it gonna be?